Hi everybody,
Nipple tassels.
welcome back. Here we go. I knew somebody would do it afterwards. It was bound to happen.
Thank you. I couldn't think of one.
Predictable.
They are just an item of clothing. They're absolutely fine.
Of course they are. Right. Hi, welcome everybody. This is going to be episode number 78 of our Abomination Vaults playthrough. We've gone over this loads of times before at the start of this, but we will once again just call out the things that we're using. So we're using Foundry VTT, we're using the Paizo module for Abomination Vaults, which includes music from Sirenscape. We've got a whole bunch of other things that we've done. I'm going to call out vaguely that we've got some character art which was done for us way back when by Starkey Studios, I believe is the name. Yep. So the character art that you've seen, that is done by it's a good friend, but they've still done this for us, and they're very good art pieces, if I do say so myself. So we're rattling a little bit quickly today, and that is partly because we are all quite tired. We're all quite, it's beginning of the year. The weather has turned basically negative. It's draining. It's horrible. It's tiring. My dog did not help this morning by deciding that the back door needed to be open, and therefore the house became 13 degrees Celsius, even with the heating on. So, yeah. It's been one
tropics,
of those.
that is.
Yes, it's not been great. It's not been a great day, and I've got doors that have been painted, so I've got paint fumes throughout the house. It's great. It's wonderful. So we're going to see what we can manage tonight, and it's only really going to be with the one recording, but that will be enough to keep us going and with you guys stuff by the time that we next put stuff out. So it should be fine. It'll be all right. But these guys have been delving into a very peculiar level of the Abomination Vaults. It's fair to say that this does not conform to any of the basement levels that they have visited before. There is not the plethora of zombies or weird humanoid creatures. We're going real oddity collection right now. We've had mimics, we've had skeletal monstrosities, we've got mold and various other uncouth horrible things down here, traps, the whole lot. It's been a real fun one, and a tavern which they're continually avoiding because they don't like the idea of a tavern in an underground dungeon, which
I want to go.
It don't make sense,
They don't have pie.
We don't know until we go through the door.
Kind of have to agree with
They
that.
will have pie. There'll be Neffy pie.
Are we going down?
I'm
a big fan of going down in a rut.
Oh God, I don't know. This is why we can't monetize ourselves. Right.
Well, at least not through this.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Right. Yes, we're back and everything else, and we're gonna go very quickly because this lot I don't even think they'll make an hour. Right, so
lucky if I can make 30 seconds.
Not about the length of time, it's what you do in that amount of time.
Yeah, that's what they say. Okay.
Should we just start this one again?
No, we're not.
Something most Neurotion makes Smallcraft advisable.
Right. I'm just going to very quickly pause. Okay, there we go. We've got the OBS camera logged in as well, so it can see what's going on. Right. So this is the room that you find yourselves in from the last time. A portal sits in the eastern wall, glowing and lighting itself up and doing all manner of magical things, and you can detect magic, and it's definitely magical. The spiritual sense that you had previously for Inver, that has gone. That disappeared as the skeletal construct rebuilt itself. So you're less concerned about that as it happens. But you do still have a couple of things left behind you. You have the portal room, which you haven't linked up to anything, and a locked and a barricaded door. which was barricaded with, I believe, a divan has been used to barricade that door up.
I
On
do
top of that,
believe.
there are 3 doors in this chamber as well, just for fun.
I believe we said absolutely not to the thing to the divan door. I mean, I could be wrong. It's been a minute.
Well, it's physically blocked, so I don't think we have to.
To worry about it if it's physically blocked.
Well, I was thinking more Neffy's impulse control.
I've got rope.
Yes, she knows.
Not going there. Not touching that with the pole.
Not that kind.
Ah.
Well, not that kind of pole or not that kind of rope.
Well.
Not that door. Let's move on. So, are we trying this door in the mid or what? This one here. Neffy, go on, have a listen.
I can have a listen. And a magic-y doo-wop.
A magic. Right, okay. Okay, having a listen, you do not hear anything on the other side of this door, and just checking it over in terms of traps and everything, you don't see anything like that.
Anything weirdly spiritual?
Nothing weirdly spiritual in the area at all.
Anything normally spiritual?
No, no, awkward. And in terms of detect magic, from there, actually, yes, you do detect magic coming from roughly this direction.
Okay.
Hang on.
If
Is that magic going to be like the other stuff in the other rooms?
I was gonna back up and see if that keeps the magic-y feeling. As
so
in,
as you...
I want to see if it can be centered to that side of the space.
Okay, so obviously you're going to start ignoring the portal behind you. You sort of go, I know that that's there. I'm ignoring it. I know that. You start backing off, and actually you're relatively certain that if it is in whatever's beyond that door, it's a good sort of 10-20 foot behind that door.
Okay.
It's not immediately behind the door.
But I'm fairly confident it's in that general
direction,
area. Okay. Okay. Obviously, I relay that to the group.
Sounds reasonable then. And it doesn't sound like there's anything dubious in there. We might as well open up, have a look in.
I'm happy to open the door as long as someone stops me.
I'm just going to step back.
There.
Okay, you open up the door. A giant mural wraps around this entire chamber. This mural depicts mutated and flesh-warped warriors, grotesque and powerful, standing in a round room within a beam of eerie blue light. The blue light originates from a tall lighthouse, and the inhuman champions spring forth from the light to slaughter humans, elves, and other surface-dwelling creatures.
Does this in any way remind me of the night that I joined the party and there was the gauntlets lit and stuff coming out of it?
100% it reminds you of the gauntlet, yes. That test firing that you saw, it's like a depiction of that. Additionally to that, Neffy and Moz, you have a look around the room. Neffy, with the fact that you know that there is something, it wasn't 10 foot away, so it couldn't be in this room. This room's only 10 foot wide. So if the whole magic thing was 20 footish in that kind of direction or more, how is it that there isn't a way through from here? seems a bit odd. It feels like it should be in this direction. Unless the two doors either side of you lap round, it just didn't feel right. And then, Moz, you're kind of looking around on this picture and you go, well, there's a door there. I can see that there is a door there. But obviously it's hidden away into the mural, and it's been designed as a means of sort of hiding stuff from you. So I'll update that, and you can now see that there is a door here. You kind of have a quick look around, check on it, you kind of give it some pushes and everything else. You realise it is kind of locked in some way, but after a while you realise that there is in one of these depictions of these heroes, one of them is a mutated ogre, and the eyes of the ogre are actually buttons that you can sort of poke both fingers at, and you reckon that's the locking mechanism.
Lovely.
I was gonna say I was initially paranoid, or Moz was initially paranoid. That's like, a room that's painted with a mural of people that might climb out of the walls now. Go full count crazy. But okay. And where is this convenient ogre to poke in the eyes?
Basically where you stood right now.
Let's not get too many people in this room, because this is a very weird and specific room.
I see no issues
Neffy,
here.
What?
Yeah?
So Moz will point out using the butt of his halberd, like, the door's here. I'm going to poke this guy in the eyes because A, it's funny, and B, it's the button. But can you hear anything, like, through that space?
I'm listening.
You do not hear anything on the other side of this door.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about.
Awesome. I'm still going to stand on this side of the door while I open it. Okay.
You press the door, you open it, you kind of have a look down the tunnel, and your immediate thought is, nope, I've seen this stuff before, because there's lines cut through the floor.
Yay.
And the walls. Do you remember this one?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Yes, whirly spinny death.
And looking down through this tunnel, you see that large square chamber where it all started.
I pull out some chalk and I mark it on the door as to what it is, just to remind ourselves.
So, who's willing to take like a 2 copper bet that other door down there is yet another way into into that back end corridor?
I mean, I think the top door maybe takes us to those. There was like chambers, like sleeping rooms or something.
The top door should take us to the cells, yeah.
And I feel like I want to know what's through there.
I'm going to put a question mark on, like, why would it be barricaded?
That's not the one that's barricaded.
Oh, is it not?
It's the one, it's the one the other side of the portal chamber that's barricaded.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, it's up
Cool.
another room for the barricaded one, so you're not near the barricaded room. Okay, under the assumption that we are going to have all the world's perception checks. Okay, Neffy, you do not hear anything. You do not detect magic of any sort. There's no spiritual sense either for Inver coming down from this corridor. Nothing like that. The vast majority of you kind of just go, yeah, I just can't really hear anything. There's no clear sort of noises coming from the other side. However, what I will say is, as you're going through this and you're talking about the idea it might be those sleeping chambers, Phelan, you do kind of go, hang on, there was something about one of those rooms, and you listen through and you can hear what you think sounds like liquid.
Oh yeah, there was that black goo room.
Yeah. We'll look for like a black oozy stuff, but we couldn't see what was in it.
I see no issue with this.
What's the door made of?
Just a wooden door.
Can we, like, cut a hole in it at eye level and have a look?
No, it's you've not really got the tools to do that sort of precision cutting a hole through something. If you had carpenter's tools, then I might say, yeah, you've probably got an oar or something like that that you could drill a hole with. But realistically, the kind of tools that you're using, they're more smash the door down rather than make a nice neat cut hole in it. So yes, you could smash the door down. Don't think that's what you really want to achieve.
No. No, I wanted to be able to have a look without accidentally letting the ooze out around my feet.
Is there a presumed keyhole?
There is no keyhole, no.
Sure, let's pop this door and find out what's on behind. What's the prize behind door number 2?
Neffy's going to open the door then.
Okay. So you open up the door to find a 20-foot long corridor. There is a door on the northern side as you go down, and there is a door dead ahead of you on the west. And then the corridor itself turns southwards.
Right, I'm going to lead the way in. I'm very cautious. I'm searching, whatever the term is, like looking for traps or anything that's going to suddenly jump out at me. I managed to shut the door. Somebody open that for me, thank you. And I managed to shut myself in the room.
Okay, so you head along. You get to that first door, listening and all the rest of it that you've been doing. And with Phelan having said there was something down here, if you remember, everybody's kind of a little bit aware of these sorts of things. You realise that firstly, these doors really do hit flat bottom of these, like it was designed so that people couldn't get out of these rooms. Or at least that there was a lot of privacy. As you get to this first door, you spot that there is a bolt on the outside. So on your side, there is a closed bolt on this door. Okay. The next thing you notice is that it's locked. Somebody's actually closed this one shut and it's everything else. But you're kind of paying attention to that door in front of you, and you can just hear what sounds like liquid just dripping slowly.
I choose to leave that door the hell alone. Because she wants everything, but she's also got self-preservation in mind. So she just moves on to the other door.
No, the north one's fine. It's the one that you've said is dead ahead of you. That's the one you can hear the dripping water sound from. So this one here to the north, that one's nice and quiet.
Sorry.
That one's quiet. It's this one this way that you can hear that sound coming from.
Apologies. Okay, so is there a bolt on the outside of the door I'm in front of now?
Yes.
And that's the silent one?
That's the silent one.
Can somebody come in with some light? Because obviously, overnight I lost my ability to see in the dark. Because, somebody updated the Pathfinder system.
The universe changed and you didn't keep up.
Exactly, damn straight. I'm not woke enough.
Persecuted by the universe.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and open the door and just see if it does open.
Dead simple. The first thing is the bolt itself just slides across. There's nothing actually physically locking it on this side. You do note something though. The lock itself, or the bolt itself, it looks like it wasn't naturally intended for this side of the door. And the reason why I say that is because it seems like the fittings just aren't quite right. And you think, actually, if you were on the inside of this door, giving it a half-decent shove or a little bit of thievery, you might actually have been able to open it from the inside. Because it just doesn't look like it's quite mounted properly on this side of the door.
Does the other door, however, look like it's designed that way specifically?
Nope.
So the other one is the same?
Yep. The two that you can see look like they weren't designed to be
Originally
on this
exist.
side of this door?
So it's been repurposed, basically.
Hmm.
Does it look hasty in the sense of someone's quickly rammed half a dozen nails into this thing, or does it look like someone's taken a little bit of time to screw this thing in properly?
It looks like somebody's taken the time to do it. But so when you put like a bolt onto a stone wall, what you normally do with like old castles and things like that is you would properly mount like a slot for it to go into, so that you're effectively using the strength of the wall to keep the bolt shut. Well, it's not. It's more like it's been just put through a metal clasp that's been put on this side, and that the stone work wasn't really intended for things to be bolted into it. So it just looks like it's not done properly. It's been done by somebody who kind of went, we need to do this, not somebody that knew how to do this.
What's around that corner, Neffy?
I'd tell you, but I don't have enough light. Somebody with light needs to look down there, or dark vision.
I can look without the light, I believe.
Wanna get a
let me
feel for
leave
the
out of
space.
corridor. There you go.
Okay, so as you look down south, the corridor goes 10 foot, and then it turns back to the east again. And then when you look down there, you see another door at this end. Same thing. The bolt has been shifted. It looks like it's been put onto this side when it wasn't originally intended to be on this side.
I shall go back and tell them. We didn't think there was anything useful in those rooms when we saw them from the other side, did we?
No, but it's very much a cursory look through a very tiny hole.
It's
Might be worth having a proper look in here as a starting point.
Yeah, I'm going to open the door.
Okay, so you open up the door. What this appears to be is it's got a single bed in it. There's an empty footlocker. There's a chamber pot. The room's been stripped of anything that's any good. But this is where it now becomes interesting, because what you notice, that thing in the wall that I said would be a good place to put a sliding bolt is on the other side.
These were private quarters. These were guest quarters of Summit, with a sneaky way in to have a look-see at who your guests are and what they're up to. But that wet is a bit weird. Is it a bath? Bit of private baths?
In black goo?
Yeah, that's the question mark.
May
Really,
not
isn't
have
it?
been black goo
That's the
originally.
weird- Yeah.
Yeah, it may not have started off that way.
Or it may have
True.
started that way, depending on what guests you've got. Let's face it, she wasn't exactly picky in some ways.
So she just had goo.
Wait.
guess.
I'm sorry, there's what, Chimera down the corridor? We've got bone Goliaths and giants in here. In some ways, she was really not particularly nice. And also, what, her lover was, what, seven worms in a jumpsuit?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no.
true.
Kobolds in a
The
trench
person
coat.
who wanted to be, yeah. The person who wanted to be a boyfriend was 7 worms in a trench coat. A bath of black ooze, when weighed against these things, may not be unusual.
Yeah, actually, that seems perfectly normal when you think about it.
Just keep Denise Crosby away from it.
Oh dear.
Fully functional, anatomically correct.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any good reason to actually identify that goo, do we? We don't need to poke this particular weirdness.
It's weird.
No,
Someone's
it's
decided to
all
turn
in
them into
there.
pens. So someone's decided to turn these into pens, or Summit, or please just stay in your room if you wouldn't mind, please. Because Neffy's
I
got
go and
like
just-
quick enough fingers.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there anything I can see in here of interest if I do
No.
an investigation of some sort?
Nothing at all.
Okay.
How visible is this spile?
Not very
Oh,
from
yeah.
this side. or at least you think it wouldn't have been if it weren't for the fact that the room is in disrepair.
And also we know it's there.
And you know it's there, so you do spot it. But it's almost like it's designed so that from one side you get a good obvious view, and then it's like there's maybe a bit of black glass or something that just hides it on this side.
As much as like obscene levels of curiosity about what's behind door number 3, 2.
Yeah, I want to know.
I don't think we need to open. Well, at the moment, Invar's in your way, so.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, fair. She can push past me.
Yeah, I have a feeling that would be some sort of contested roll if I try. I'll do as I'm told.
I'll stop for everything. Wow, cool.
What have you done with Invar? What did she lose her sight and gain a load of sense along the way?
I don't know, but Neffy's also gotten really weird.
Sorry, yes, that's what I meant. Neffy, not Invar. God.
I knew what you meant, which is why I just went, yeah. I heard Neffy.
He's right, though. It's not what I said.
Sorry, I will stop being a pedant. On this occasion.
At 3:32 precisely tomorrow.
Then is your 8-minute window until the sass begins again.
Okay.
So,
bottom door.
Bottom door.
Scooch.
And this door looks about the same as the other doors?
Yep.
I have a listen. And a magic woo.
And a spiritual wee.
Okay, no sense of magic and no sense of spirit, and you do not hear anything.
Checks out.
Cool.
Oh, hello. Phelan's gone wandering.
Oh, wrong door.
You can go that way if you really want.
The shape of this corridor is surprisingly similar, Moz, as you walk down it. Almost like you've walked down a corridor like this just a few seconds ago.
Hold up. What's the floor looking like?
The floor has no marks on it or anything else like that.
Okay. Because I was going to say, we went through a couple of snake backs to get to the other one.
But it has the 3 doors on it. It has the whole angle back that the other corridor just now had, where you found the cells. Guess what? The doors all have bolts on the outside that look like they were fitted as an afterthought.
Okay. I want to listen at each of the doors, and then I actually want to open each of them as long as there's no sound. And can I sense any magic?
No, you... Ooh, actually, yes, you can sense magic down to the south of you.
To the south?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. That's the magic that you sensed earlier, presumably.
Presumably, when I
we didn't find it anywhere else.
The one that you sensed up there was the trap in the corridor that you kind of opened the door and went, close the door.
Yeah.
But you can sense very similar, in fact, magic to the south of you.
Oh, okay. So I think that there might be more traps or the same trap.
You listen at every door and you do not hear anything.
Cool. I'll throw open each of the doors.
Okay, go for it.
So that's the first one.
The very first one, it is exactly the same as the room you've just been in. There is a bed. There is a bed. There is a chamber pot. There is a footlocker. Nothing of interest. It's all been ransacked. The whole thing.
Okay, I'm gonna throw that one
Same
open.
again. Exactly the same.
Go on, Mars. Open the last one for us.
Exactly the same.
So the only oddity in here Is the wet room.
Is the oozy
Yeah.
room. Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate it's a slightly odd request, yeah, but can I use society to figure out if this is just like supposed to be guest quarters or if it's supposed to be something else? I've got a not unreasonable in society.
You
Trained
do
in
have a not
society.
unreasonable in society.
Can
Okay.
I
And,
help,
you know,
like putting our heads together, kind of thing?
To an extent, yes. Let me just have a very quick check on something. Just give me a moment.
because you know, Citadel Vrax is going to have guest quarters. It's going to have most likely, even though I wouldn't have been read into it and told where they were, it's probably going to have secret passages if you look into the guest quarters. But it's that this is that kind of society.
Okay. You roll well enough, so I'll tell you this. Yes, they look like guest quarters, but considering you found chambers and rooms before which appeared to be designed for guests, so things like the reading room that was upstairs, and there were a couple of little, okay, you found out that there was because there was a haunt in it with the massive great eye. There were spy holes going into various rooms, but they were lavish, or at least they would have been lavish in their heyday. These are not. These are, I suppose the term utilitarian in terms of, they serve a purpose. There's no expense given to these rooms. Okay, there's nothing. No money has been spent on these. It's a basic bed. It's a basic thing. Okay, so you've got that at the moment.
Is any of this ringing bells for me? Because to me, this
No.
looks like the sort of place you might keep your sacrifices if you didn't particularly like them.
Oddly enough, no.
Oh, okay.
This chamber does not strike any bells with you at all.
Okay.
You've seen this kind of space before, Moz. This is the kind of space that you put soldiers or potentially, and when you put two and two, because you wouldn't lock your soldiers into their rooms, but you also wouldn't really give your sacrifices any level of comfort. You just get them dealt with. These aren't prisons, at least they weren't originally. These look like they might once have been rooms for entertainers of a specific sort. Your gladiators, your arena entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
These look like these were rooms for the kind of people that you might throw into an arena, or might have chosen to go into an arena.
We've got like a judgment room further up to the north, with the whole kind of, yes, we're going to see you and we're going to do a little bit of hosting or we're going to drop you into a pit for a scrap. We've and the antechamber that goes with that. We've got the cooking space, like a little bit of room up. We've got the portaling rooms here for bringing people in and out and changing levels. So yeah, it makes sense.
The question actually then springs up in your head. Maybe that tavern has an observation floor. And if that's the case, then you're actually the floor above the arena. And there's somewhere around here will be an entrance into it.
That's got to be the big runway to the south. Because, yeah, that'll drop down a layer to go to the Colosseum, but also you've got that big gutter walkway that's like over to the west, where we've got all those crisscrossy layers. Those stairs down there, down to the south, that's probably going to be the, psych yourself up to go down to the tunnel to go, way, we're here. Look at me, I'm about to get shanked. Or something along those lines, maybe. So, knowing there's Chimera down there, I think they'll Chimera, weren't they, Jim?
Basilisk.
Basilisks, that's the word, not chimera. Any evidence that anything's been up these stairs as Moz heads down there being stupid?
There is nothing
Or anything's
overly special about these stairs.
Aelin,
As
keep an
you
eye
have
on
done.
Neffy. As I
Apart from as a pair of
try and
goggles.
follow Moz
Trust
at a safe
it.
distance.
I'm perfectly innocent.
Double doors or
Tag
single
parent,
doors?
you're it.
Okay, Moz goes wandering.
Mm,
You
Little bit.
find at the bottom of these steps, you head down, they're relatively nice, simple steps. You find a massive double door. Relatively simple in design, but it is a stonking great door.
yeah.
And this is difficult to explain, but you know that sound that you get when you put your ear up to a door and you go, that's a huge space behind this, because you can hear like tiny echoes from goodness knows what distance away, just kind of, even if it's just like a slight drop noise from a bit of water or something, you can tell that there is a massive space behind that door.
Yeah, Moz will, upon realizing this, freeze for like half a second, go, oh, and will very carefully back away, and gesture back up the stairs to Inva.
To make it worse, Moz, you swear at one point you hear what sounds like a fleshy kind of thumping, squirming noise coming from behind that door.
No.
Fair.
Nope. Let's just get back up there before we have this conversation. Yeah, it gets a bit weird down there. There's a big set of doors. There's a lot of space. And have you ever heard the sounds of like two flayed hands clapping? Because that's what it sounds like back there. So that's not.
We're going to have to at some point, otherwise we just end up with rooms and rooms of let's not.
It sounds like a really big open space, and at the moment I can't remember the map well enough to remember exactly where the Colosseum space is, because time changes. And you know that tavern? If there is a bar, and if this is Gladiator's quarters, there's probably a way to see into the Colosseum from that bar that's not going to get all the viewers fragged.
Yeah, so we can see what
Yes.
we're walking into first.
It does
That
mean that
makes
we
a
need
kind
to
of
go to the
sense.
tavern, which is never my first suggestion.
So you're saying we can finally go to the tavern?
I think we might have to go to the tavern to get a reasonable idea about what's going on down there.
Okay.
Unless, of course, we go in there and we find out that they don't go near there on account of the fact that, there's now topiary. By which I mean a rockery.
Sure you don't mean a shrubbery?
No, because then you'd have us have a second larger shrubbery, slightly offset and further up the hill.
And don't mention the wear and tear on the herrings.
That's the one.
Oh dear.
And if you can
Okay.
follow those references, folks.
Yeah.
I
Dear.
don't think
Right.
I'm old enough.
I only have one question then. Because only one on this occasion. You have found, as you've been travelling around this side of the dungeon, you have found a doorway which will lead you to that long corridor with the two bridges. And you know darn well that you can get over that bridge and you can be on the other side and all the rest of it. But that would involve you having to kind of hope that the basilisks don't spot you. Or you can go all the way around and take the long route, which might take you a
I
bit
vote
of time.
the long way.
I have to admit, on the opportunity of becoming a two-tier edgery, I go vote the long way.
That's fair enough. So, for the viewers, I'm going to pause the recording and then we're going to move lots of tokens over to different areas of the map. But we'll be back pretty quickly because I'm not doing all of that manually. That's just going to take too long and not have anybody saying anything. Right, so we moved the tokens. We're back over to where we found the tavern, and we've just been discussing why they didn't go in the tavern in the first place. And it has been remembered that one of the reason why they didn't go in is because Inva came up to this door and went, there's a lot of stuff back here. What the hell's going on? In terms of spirits. And in fact, the other thing that you did hear in here was effectively it sounded like things being thrown across the room and two people shouting at each other about how, you were the spoilt one, Mummy didn't like you, and various other things like this that kept on bursting out of the room.
Yay, twinsies.
Yeah, it's all your fault we're here. It's all your fault we're dead.
Wait,
now
what?
that's interesting. That's interesting.
I mean, they know they're dead. That's a good start.
Now that you're here, this is what all of you are listening at this door, and this is what you hear. You hear crashes and sounds of things being thrown around. I don't care what you say. You're the one that decided to attack me first. Just because I stabbed you in the neck, you still got me in the heart.
Phelan, can you heal Neffy before we go and deal with whatever arguing brats are behind that door?
Yeah. Has it been long enough so I can dump some more first aid?
Yes, it has been more than long enough. You guys have been walking around for a while now.
Okay, so let's start with changing some bandages for 6 points of health. How's that?
How many was that, sorry?
6.
That puts me up to that. I'm still down 15, so...
Okay, I'll drop a level 1 heal out of the wand, out of my wand, I think, because it's better to do that now than use one of my inbuilt spells, because that means more switch or change of equipment. So... Wand of heal. Use. And that's going to be 15 points exactly.
Hey, perfect. Thank you. I feel so much better. I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm. So we reckon there's definitely 2. How many more do we reckon?
That's a minimum, yeah. Who that know they're dead? There could be more that maybe don't know they're dead, but we know 2 know they're dead.
True.
Which is more than that librarian knew. She didn't know she was dead.
No, I think she did by the time we'd finished with her.
Oh yeah, she did
for a little
that.
bit, yeah. So, shall we try the softly approach?
Can try.
Who wants to do the talking?
Should probably be me, really.
Yes, it should. That's what I was hoping you would say.
I'm going to have my spirit lantern out.
And Moz will very polite. We'll give the basically Copper's knock on the door, bop bop bop, and open the door for him.
Very much.
So we'll do the room description first, shall we? The curved east wall, east and west wall, contain tables with small built-in ovens. Wood fragments, heavily dented pewter serving dishes, silver flatware, and crystal shrapnel litter the floor. A wide alcove on the south side has a cloudy window which appears to overlook a much larger space. An array of magical glyphs glow next to the window. Okay, so that's your first bit. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The second bit is at each opposite side of the room, 2 very similar looking spirits reside. Now, in terms of what these sort of look like, the best art for them is actually on the on the tokens themselves. Unfortunately, that art doesn't come over. So what you can see is two fairly humanoid-looking shapes. They've got this sort of foppish collars on. They've got aristocrat robes and everything else underneath it. The skin is mostly gone. It's almost a skeletal feature, but you can see that there is a drastic similarity between these two. And they are currently throwing things across the room at each other. Obviously not with their hands. They're flicking their hands out, and these things are starting to shoot across the room, whatever they're pointing at. The second you open the door, they look at you and start to signal to the things like they're going to throw stuff at you. Okay.
Evening, folks. How are we doing?
Just, yeah. Don't need to throw stuff at us. We haven't done you any harm.
Look,
Sorry to get into the middle of an argument
Okay.
between you, you know.
Firstly, why you find it very peculiar that you're talking to us. We're clearly dead. Not the normal thing that the living do. I'm quite surprised you started with that, but fair enough. Look,
Do I look entirely living to you?
more than we do. At least you're breathing. Now,
This is
That
scale.
much is true.
it's. I mean, you've caught me a little bit off guard, and the other one goes, "Look, it's dead easy to catch you off guard, you stupid moron."
Who was the neck and who was the back? Because, you know, in the back is definitely easy to catch off guard.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, the stabbing.
up the
You
corridor.
heard us, did you?
We
Well,
did, yes.
And
Bit
the
hard
one
not to.
the one to the east points at him. He goes, "He's the nutter that stabbed me in the neck." Anyway, look,
So,
before you've confused us a little, I will admit. I'm not entirely sure why
going
you're
on down here?
You do realise, well, we're stuck. We're stuck here. We can't get out. Honestly, at the moment, again, look. There's no way out. We can't.
where do you want to go out to?
Well, just out of here, out of this gaunt-like place. How do we get out?
Kind of depends on why you're stuck.
Well, only because we don't know how to leave.
Can you leave this
What's
room?
stopping you?
Yes. Well, I
What was
mean,
stopping
Okay.
you from leaving this area? This floor.
well, the fact that the doors were shut. We can't get through the doors. We can't open them. Which seems a bit
Any
silly,
doors?
but well, yeah.
But you can pick things up to throw, but you can't open the doors.
With,
Am I
with,
understand?
with where we're ghosts, things seem to just fly around, but doors won't open.
They're too heavy, I'm assuming.
I don't.
Okay.
Possibly.
Interesting. What would you do if you got out? Because you clearly know that you're dead.
Just, well, I mean, we just want to leave.
Do you want to leave the Gauntlet, or do you want to go back to the River of Souls?
What the what now? Look, the main
Where most
the main problem is, and the other one goes, look, seriously, we don't want to talk about this to strangers. It's silly. It's not silly, brother. It's just the way it is.
So if you
Look,
leave the
it-
Gauntlet,
yes, well, but we can't, and we're scared.
if we helped you leave, okay, if we helped you leave the Gauntlet, you would probably not be very welcome in the lands of the living. You know that, right? Because you're
Yeah,
dead.
that's-
People are scared of you.
Finbar would absolutely be getting a side eye from mobs.
That's fine. He can keep glaring at me. If I could kick him, I would.
Honestly,
In the sort of shut up.
honestly, I don't know what will happen to us, but the main problem is we're stuck, and that's terrifying. And the other guy, stop telling them. Look, we only.
So there's
I
two
only
ways.
Stabbed you because you were winding me up, and I was so scared that everything you were saying that we couldn't leave that I had to kind of shut you up.
So you couldn't leave when you were alive either.
it's more. Something happened. There was a whole big thing going on upstairs while we were here, and then we were stuck, and we didn't know how to leave. There was nobody around to take us back, so we were stuck here, and then he stabbed me. And yes, but I had to do that because you stabbed me first.
Did you come down the stairs or did you come down?
Can't remember. We can't remember that.
Don't worry. Well, walk us through it if you'd like. I mean, you can step this way. Absolutely fine. Try this.
No. Look. We thought. Well, he claims that he thought when he stabbed me that just us dying was the last resort for getting out of here, and then we came back, and now we've been stuck here for a very, very long time, and it's all his fault.
Well, the good news is you've got your own minds. You're not kind of stuck back then, because there was a really pissed off librarian stroke accountant.
The one in the west goes, he didn't have a lot of mind to start with. Oh, shut up, you!
So
ball over this way, towards the glass.
You go. Ghosts and spirits will be stuck here, where here is this world, either because there is some magic or enchantment preventing them leaving, or because you have somewhat unresolved business. Now, clearly, you have unresolved business between the two of you.
Well, no, there have been the odd decade where we've agreed to kind of put things aside, and then nothing happens, and after the decade we get a little bit bored with each other after having agreed with each other about each other's failings. Shut it, you! But in either case, it would appear that being okay with each other is not enough.
I would agree.
Honestly, the biggest problem is, how the hell do we get out?
I can help you with that. You won't be in this place anymore. You won't be in this world anymore. You will go where you really should have gone when you died all those years ago.
Well, I don't think that's the problem, but look, it's been okay talking to you, but seriously, unless you can offer us a way out, either leave or we're gonna...
I can offer you a way out. And if you threaten us, you're going to end up taking it anyway. It'll just hurt more.
The door's open. Walk through the door.
Yeah, but we don't know the route.
Walk through the doorway.
Tell us the route.
Well,
how do we get from here to the surface?
Absolute.
What are you going to do when you get there?
Nothing, if we can help it. We'll sit and wait for something to actually happen. But
what will happen when you get to the surface is you will scare the living people who live up there, and they will either wait for us to come back and ask us to send you on your way, or they will attack you and try to do it themselves. You won't be welcome to live up there. Whether that's right or wrong, it's the way things are.
Anybody that's got undead or ghost lore or anything like that, please roll it. Somebody has said the answer in this group.
Okay.
But you've then sort of gone round in a circle on it.
It's not bad.
Oops, not what's that dice.
15 plus 10 for 25.
Okay.
For undead law.
Hold on. 18 plus 10 for 28.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Inver, you've already mentioned ghosts will stay if they have something that is holding them back. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What is stopping these two getting out of here? What is stopping them? What is holding them back from leaving? And it's not the animosity. Because
that's what I was attempting to work round to. It's where I was trying to get the conversation to go. And I keep getting
But
helpful
they-
interjections from my companions.
But they've actually, it's not the animosity, and they have actually
Mhm.
told you what is keeping them back. They've actually told you several times why they are not as ghosts moving on.
They don't know the way.
They don't know the way to leave.
Yeah.
That's it. They just don't know how to leave the Gauntlet. If you tell them how to leave the Gauntlet, they will go.
Spirits
As
move
in,
on.
they will move on. Because that is the only thing stopping them moving on, is that they don't know how to leave. And
Would
get
Moz
out
have
of
So-
this building.
Do I think, because Invar doesn't want to turn them loose into the world up top, do I think that they need to physically travel through the Gauntlet and into the world before they can move on, or is just having the knowledge of how to do that enough?
Just having the knowledge of how to leave will be enough to stop the spirits feeling like they are stuck.
Okay, then I
Did
will
it-
tell them. Don't ask me to say it because I can't remember, but Invar will know.
So the main thing here is, and it says in the thing, if you can describe a route through the building that with all of the routes being open, as in you haven't closed any doors, which there is a route that allows you to do that, then they look at you, they sort of pause, like somebody's pressed pause on a play button. They just suddenly stop moving. And then one after the other, they sigh and just disappear.
Do they disappear in a way that I can capture the wisps, though?
They are
enough to be probably.
properly moving on. So I'd
I
imagine.
know.
And I'd imagine you might get some kickback if you try to trap souls. That.
That's I can't remember how they.
I think it has to be spirits you've defeated or released in some way. Now, you could classify these guys as released, but you don't know what would happen to two ghosts that you've given the right information to allow
It's
them
an
to move on.
exorcist
And then
thing.
it is.
It's an exorcist thing. Where's that? Not spirit spells. That's different. Exorcist dedication.
Whilst Invar is thinking on this thing and diving into their lore, Moz will so looks like my friend is having a moment, but they've got a plan. They've got a bit of an idea. What was happening upstairs? Was it because we know a little bit of the history? Obviously, you've been down here
It just
a long while. What was happening? Because we think there was a raid or something going on, is what I was saying.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to those two whilst
They
Invar's having
disappeared as
her-
you told them the. Yeah, they literally just vanish.
Alright.
No worries.
You can capture stronger spirit remnants from vanquished undead spirits.
I would be inclined to say that these are not vanquished. They've been
Agreed.
freed.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Grr.
Moz is going to spend longer looking at glass.
Okay.
I could also investigate.
You're having a look around and investigating. Okay, so
What can I find?
first thing in terms of do you find anything is the first question. Yes, you do. So in amongst the debris and various other bits and pieces, you find a steel box. The mechanism that holds it together appears to be jammed. So I'd like you to make a thievery check to see if you can actually pry this thing open.
Okay. Thievery, wrong one. 19 plus 11.
Okay, easy.
So-
Not a problem at all. That'll be a critical success, yeah. So you open this up, and inside you find a ring.
Okay.
which does, with a little bit of detect magic, you realise that it is giving off a magical system. Now, to be fair, you have to leave the room a little bit because the glyphs on the wall are definitely magical. So you have to leave the room to sort of verify that this thing is also magical as well, but you do. Now, it is... Let me just have a quick grab because it's not where I thought it was going to be. Okay, so... Going to do all the various button presses and all the rest of it. I would need, if anybody wants to try and identify this, Arcana, Nature, Occultism, or a Religion roll. So whichever one is best for you, please make those rolls if you want to try and identify this thing.
30-20 on occultism.
What was it? Occultism, nature, religion?
It's all of them. It's whichever one of the ones is best for you.
Is
22
either
occult.
particularly better out of occult or religion?
It would... For something like a ring, it would be very difficult to say if occultism or religion would be better. But
I will take 15 plus 8 for 23 on religion, please.
okay.
32 on nature.
32 on nature. Okay. Moz,
Nice.
what did Moz get?
22 occult.
Okay. So there's only one person that identifies this, and that's Phelan. Actually, interestingly enough, Arcana was the best thing to go for, which none of you went for. But with the 32 on religion, on nature, sorry, it's more than enough to identify it. This is a very, very powerful item. It is a Ring of Wizardry level 1.
I hand it to Phelan.
This thing, if you can cast spells, I think, hang on, it's made from platinum. It's worth a pretty penny. It is in your stash now, so your group stash if you want it. It gives you a +1 bonus to item bonus to Arcana checks. It gives you 2 first level arcane spell slots per day.
Ooh.
When you prepare spells in those slots, you can cast them spontaneously.
Oh.
So yeah.
Do
so
you
it's-
have to be
yeah.
able to cast arcane spells or
You
any spell?
Do.
You do. You have to be.
Can
able to
any
cast
of us
arcane
do that?
Me.
Oh, God.
So yeah, it's a bit of a
Oh.
yeah. You have to be able to spell cast. You have to have the spell casting feature of the
Yeah.
arcane tradition. So yeah.
I put it on.
So it is
Yep.
in the group thing. It is actually one of the first
Yeah.
sort of items you found in here that somebody will have to invest in if you want to actually be able to use it. So it's not an immediate effect.
I can do the other two, can't do that one.
Am I being dumb?
So you go
Where's
on
the
your
loot?
on the party sheet, remember now. So it's not a separate character. So
Oh, party. Oh, okay. Yes. I forgot they changed
and the
all
stash.
this. Hang on.
Yeah.
The stash. Ring
Mhm.
of Wizardry. And then
Yep.
how do I...
Just
Do I just
drag it
have
onto your
to
character
move?
sheet into your inventory,
I think I've done that right. Let's have
and
a look.
then the invest should look
yes.
like a little diamond that you click on.
Yes.
That will invest it.
It says toggle
And I'll need to check the
investment.
rules on investing. I can't remember if it takes 24 hours or not, but I think
Well, I press the button and nothing seems to happen.
no, because unfortunately it will be on your spell sheet, which is a manual process to update. So I will have to actually manually do that, unfortunately. But it's a thing.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Assume that it's invested.
Okay.
And we'll deal
If
with that
anybody
later.
wants to have a look at the glyphs, that is an Arcana or Occultism roll to try and work out what they do.
We'll mess with the
Occultism.
yogurt.
Occultism
going
or
Yakult, I'll do.
Arcana.
25 on occultism.
9 plus 8 for 17 on occultism.
Okay.
No, wait.
11 and 10
Yes.
for 21 arcana.
Okay. Did anybody get over 20? Within a few minutes of having a look at these, you realise it's like a transparency bar in Photoshop. As you move the glyphs up one, the wall in front of you becomes more and more opaque and more solid. As you drop it down in the other direction, the wall becomes more and more transparent. To the extent, though, where you realise it's not just transparency, it's etherealness as well, to the extent you can start putting your hand through the stone.
Yeah, let's not.
But you can control this etherealness and this transparency backwards and forwards as you desire. As you start to move the dial to sort of more transparent, just to check out what's on the other side of the room, it's at that point that you see this massive chamber. You are on the upper level with what appears to be some sort of balcony, only sort of 10 foot away from you, with these semicircled daises and balconies that would allow you to look over what you're guessing is an entire floor down, some sort of arena floor. You can't see the arena floor in detail, but you can certainly see this, the sort of bits of it, and you can kind of catch. If you look over to one side and look over the balcony, you can see sand or something on the floor. It is, however, at that moment that you realise that moving around on that arena floor is something. This mass, elongated, huge creature seems to be built of flesh of some description, but as you get to other parts of it, you can see massive pieces of insect chitin sort of melded into this shape. There appear to be faces of various creatures pressing out from its head. There's mandibles coming out of one section of it. As you move further back, you can kind of see through this translucent skin, this body floating inside this creature. Insect legs and spider parts kind of coming off the back end of it as it slides itself like a giant snake around the chamber. It looks like this.
Ew.
And that's where we're going to stop for today.
That's horrific.
Don't want to deal with that. Nuh-uh.
No, I'm sure you don't. We'll catch everybody next time, don't you think?
Yeah, sure.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Might be
Catch
ill
you
that
around.
week. Bye.
Bye.